Right. We are live. Oh my gosh, Jenny, we're live. We did it.
We did it.
So I'm going to start off just by saying hello. And while I'm saying hello, we're going to allow this to populate and go live in all the places. And before we went live, Jenny's like, oh, I'm going to do all the things. And she's going to put a link in the comments while I'm chatting. But I'm here with Jenny today, and I was using the tease line, which, by the way, I stole from you, which was like, secrets from a summit producer. I love that because
you saw one of my lives.
I did, because live video works. But what I love more is just this summit for me on so many different levels. And it's more than a summit, it's like an online event, because I've been a part of so many, and this one is by far the best one that I've been a part of. And I'm not, you know me.
Oh, that's cool.
No happy clapper club here. But so from my perspective, and then I'm going to talk to you about your perspective and why people should sign up, and is when I am asked to do a speaking gig, we're going to call it, right? Generally, most people are just trying to fill the summit, right? Like they're just trying to fill. They don't really look at too much, and they're just looking for a yes. When I got on with you, you interviewed me, right? Sterling's like, aren't you fancy? We are fancy, Sterling, look at us. But what I loved, a couple things. First of all, you interviewed me. And I was a little blown away because, I have 20 years of video experience. We were new to each other, but I kind of came in with a little bit of my nose in the air, like, of course she's going to want to do it. But here's what the thing is that you said to me was, no fluff. And this is my motto, because what happens, I think, with too many online events and anything in the online world is there's so much fluff, and then it's filler, and it's not anything that people can latch onto. And this is why, and what we're talking about today, if you're just joining us, watch me get fancier, Sterling, is the Grow and Profit Online, your new launch formula. And what I love about this, and then I'm going to let you take it, is not cookie cutter. Why is it so important to have an event for people that is not cookie cutter? I did this, and so you need to do this too.
Because it doesn't work.
What?
It doesn't work. Cookie cutter doesn't work. If you're trying to do it like everybody else is doing it in a completely different business with a completely different business model, it's just not going to work. And then you're going to get like super depressed that it didn't work. And then guess what? You're never going to launch again, because you're like, well, I tried it and it didn't work, Jenny. So no. And that's what happens. It happened to me. My first launch was a complete and utter disaster because I tried to follow a formula that had nothing to do with my business. Yeah. And it pissed everybody off, pissed me off even more. But it like alienated me from my ideal client, because they're like, this doesn't feel genuine. Yeah. And I was just trying to listen to the coach, when they say just follow direction, listen to, follow in the step that you're in, all this kind of stuff. And I was trying to follow. I mean, I paid over $7,000 for this program. I was trying to do all the good things. And not only me, this didn't only happen to me, but a whole bunch of people. Like, it was the same launch formula. For me, at the time, I was a virtual assistant. It was the same launch formula for a woman who was in fashion, who did fashion makeovers. It was the same launch formula for a woman who was writing children's books. How is that supposed to work?
It can't. And this is, I think we even shared before our interview, is I have a very similar story. And my guess is people out there, like, we all have those, like, I got a coach type thing, and you're excited because you're like, this is it. This is the button I've been looking for. And then it's like, wah, 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 because they're either teaching you what worked for them, and they're trying to force it into everybody else's niches. So let's talk about one of the things that you said in an email is just build your own dang plan.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean? So and why, and how is the summit kind of built around that idea?
Well, so I'm kind of do you remember back in the day, we had the Choose Your Own Adventure books?
Yes.
Right. And I love that. I'm also one of those people that when I go out to a restaurant with friends, I want to have like 6 or 7 appetizers because I want to try all the things. Launch plans are the same way, right? So I'll simplify this. It is choose your own adventure. So the thing that worked for the amazing Amy Porterfield a couple months ago when she did her launch is not going to work for you. Yeah. However, if you see what, the amazing Tracy Phillips did for her, for one of her launches, and you're like, oh, I really like that little piece of strategy. Yeah. She did X amount of lives, and I really like how she did that. Then you can kind of pull that and put that in your little ingredient list, right? In your little thing. And if you like the way that, you know, our friend Sterling recently did a whole thing about where he got like 64 calls and all this kind of stuff, you can pull a little kernel from that. And you start building up your own strategy based on the things that you see other people doing that fit and feel good. It doesn't have to feel like you're wearing somebody else's design.
Yeah.
You get to customize it for yourself. Yeah. So that's why I have like you and you know, 17 and 18 of my other amazing friends who all have done strategies ever so slightly different.
Yeah.
From a different perspective, which gives everybody the opportunity to pick and choose the one that fits for them. Yeah. This is your choose your own adventure launch plan.
Oh my gosh. That should be like a tag.
That should have been the title.
Next year. Just do it next year.
I missed out.
No. Let's think of it as an opportunity, not something that was missed, but something we could do moving forward, Jennie. Yeah. So since you mentioned, you know, yourself and 17 of your closest, and listen, there's some great people speaking, and I'm super excited to be like in the same like hub as they are. Can you talk about like some of the people, some of the speakers, who people will see, what
Absolutely.
like 3 days? Give us a little like breakdown of the Grow and Profit Online.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start off with day 1 tomorrow, because it happens tomorrow, right? So we're starting off tomorrow morning. First things first, we're talking about selling from social media. So social sales with Katie Brinkley. Katie Brinkley has this phenomenon where she was one of the early adopters on Clubhouse and ended up with this massive following, like hundreds of thousands of people just in a really short period of time. So, and then she was selling from the DMs. So she's going to show us how to do that. I'm also tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about launching with a list. I'm going to be talking about list building and engagement that way. We've got Christy Connor, who is in a similar space to you, but approaches it a little bit differently, which is like how to create more buzz before your launch using a lot of live methods. We've also got Carrie Charrington tomorrow. That's creating like profit in a plan. Her and I are similar with like creating all these cool plans. Sean Quintero, he's talking about how he made, he's a case study of $267,000 from an online challenge. Super cool case study. Lara LaSalle tomorrow. She's talking about how to be an effective leader and leadership to build a team so you can sell well. And then somebody with the same name as you, Tracy Hobiar, she's talking about the juggling act of building out a launch. And then we have day 2 and day 3 with a whole bunch of other experts, yourself included. You're actually on day 2. Day two. And Sterling, who's like watching this, he's on day 2 right before you as well. So 3 essentials of launch challenges that work. So it's going to be a stellar lineup of people who are actually doing the thing. And here's the no fluff part. These people are doing the work. They're actually doing the launches. They're not fake and baking it. And they haven't just done it once and stayed at a Holiday Inn and then said they're, an expert.
Right. Or like I like to say, one of my clients, went through a divorce and then got like 10 years of coaching and all the things under her belt, and was then, leading women through divorce coaching. I'm like, it's not like you rolled out of bed and you were like, I got a divorce, I should help people through their divorces, right? Right. Which is a lot of people approach it. I just saw Sabrina and Aurora signed up. Yoo-hoo!
Yay, Aurora! I love it.
Super excited.
Absolutely.
So again, from my perspective, I just love the way that you're approaching this. Like, you need a plan. What do you think people do wrong when it comes to launching? Like, what would you say like the biggest mistake people make when it comes to launching?
They don't plan.
Yeah.
And they don't set an intention.
That's interesting. Can we dive into that a little bit?
Of course. Setting an intention for your launch it allows yourself and your team to focus on the road ahead. So, and if your intention, and an intention is different than a monetary goal, right? So if you say, I want 30 people in my program to make $25,000, that's a financial goal.
Right.
But your intention is different. My intention for this launch that I'm doing right now was to do it with ease, to not get stressed, to enjoy myself, enjoy my friends, enjoy putting it together, and to run through it smoothly. And not once have I gotten super stressed about this event.
I was just going to ask, how's it going, Jennie?
Totally fine. Like it's the day before. Now I've done over 300 of these things, but it's the day before. This is when the rubber meets the road kind of thing. And you've got a lot of balls in the air and stuff. And I'm just like, let's go for a walk. you know,
And you're popping on live with me, which I think is so fun. So again, and I'm just going to, because you've done 300 of these, I've probably been a guest on at least 30 summits over the last 7 years, you know, like that, like this is different. And there's a couple different things that are different. The one is Jennie made her schedule completely available to all of us to book lives, to talk about what this is going to be. I think that's amazing. The support that we've gotten on the back end from a kickoff call to all of the assets that you would possibly need, and making yourself available for questions. But here is what I think is truly amazing. On all 3 days, there's an opportunity to hop on live with the speakers.
Yes.
That is so cool and different. That is so cool, because it's not just, I mean, for me, there's a true difference between just absorbing information and then taking action. And the people I find take action are the ones that show up. So I also want to encourage you not only to sign up for this, of course you're going to sign up, but then show up on whatever day you can, because it is such a fun opportunity for speakers to answer questions, to be able to interact with each other. So I have to give you like kudos for hosting what I think is one of the best events out there. And I know that like, there's a lot of when people are like, oh, another summit. This is the summit you need to do this summer, right? We're going into launch period, right?
Yep, September's coming.
Right. It's coming.
Get ready,
email inbox. So it's coming. Right now is the perfect time to hop on. And I love what you said about like, just kind of piecemealing. It's like a little menu of like, I'm going to take a little of this and a little of that. And also because it is not one size fits all. No. When someone comes to me and they're like, I had a coach, they told me to do this, it didn't work, and they told me I didn't want it enough, I didn't do this enough, I didn't, and
that angers me to no end.
Yeah.
Like I want it badly, and you telling me that I didn't follow the coaching or whatever is literally just passing the blame.
Right.
And I personally think it's a piece of abusive behavior on the coach's side. I think it's really negligent.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, because there's a difference between someone not showing up and not doing any work and someone who has showed up and given everything they could and they didn't get the results. And then you're saying, oh, but you didn't want it bad enough. You didn't try hard enough. You didn't hustle enough.
I know.
Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah. But this is like the anti that. This is the choose your own adventure, make the launch work from you. And I really want everybody to hear too, is like setting an intention. By the way, I've been launching for how many years now, like online? I think that's amazing because so many people set financial goals, like you said, and I am guilty. Like, I don't know that I've ever set the intention of like, I mean, I've done the type of like, I am going to attract the best people for this and just let it go, not be attached to the outcome.
Absolutely. And I can't even take credit for that.
Yeah.
So I have to give credit to Lara LaSala. She's on the event.
Yeah.
Her and I actually worked on a team together a couple of years ago for a 7-figure earner. And she was like the project manager and she's trying to wrangle everybody. And we were doing this, it ended up being a 7-figure launch, which was great. But at the beginning, she's like, let's set our intention for what this is going to look like. Right. You know, and the clients like, well, this is my intention for it. And then everybody on the team was like, this is what our intention is, right? To, you know, blah, blah, blah for this launch. And it had an effect because every time we went off course, it was like, no. We said we would do this.
Yes.
And we're not doing this now. And we need to come back to the intention that we created. And it was like, oh, wow. It keeps you focused. It really does. And it's a super good way of staying incredibly niched in on the thing that you're doing and not allowing the busy crap to come in. It also keeps you from changing your mind on certain things, which I think is really, really important. So there's a lot of ways to do it. And I also think the other thing, we were talking about planning, and I know planning doesn't sound really sexy, but planning is actually super sexy when you want to succeed.
Yeah.
So this summit has been in production. It's July now. This summit has been in production for 4.5 months.
Yeah.
You know, and planning is a thing. Like I contacted you months ago.
Yes. And I really want people to hear this. It's not like Jennie rolled out of bed last week and was like, oh yeah, I've been watching Tracy. She'd be a good fit. Right. Like months. I don't even know when we recorded it. I know it was like over a month ago. We chatted like a month prior to that.
And I talked to 2 people before I talked to 2 people referred you to me, 2 people that I trust.
Yeah.
And then I got on the call and we had a conversation, and it was absolutely like it was so much of an interview of you, but it was also you getting to get to know me. And I was super clear. I'm like, this is what I'm creating. Are you on board with this?
Well, and I think, again, like intention-wise, like no fluff. No one has ever, on all the summits I've ever been in, they weren't like, you know, like give your best, I remember during our interview too, I think I pulled out one of my big papers and started doing
so
like,
good.
Right. But you're like, wait, is this happening right now? Is this going to happen? I was like, no fluff, Jennie, no fluff.
Like you actually brought out a huge piece of paper and you explained everything. And I was like, holy bleep, this is actually happening on here. And I was astounded.
Yeah.
Because nobody does that. But that just shows your character and how much you deliver and why everybody should catch your talk, because you went above and beyond.
Well, I also feel like that is how, when people talk about like holding back, you know, you don't want to give away the farm. You don't want to give away, so there's no reason for people to coach with you. However, the magic sauce is you, right? And so you should be able to teach something, bring something to the world that they're like, I want more of that. And that's what I think you do so well, is kind of like, here's my world and I'm going to do this. Parting words. What are some parting words you have for our friends here on the interwebs before we start tomorrow? Because I'm excited for tomorrow.
Parting words would be, forget what you know or what you think that you have to do for a launch. Register and then come with an open mind and be willing to choose your own adventure kind of style on what you could do to elevate either your first launch, your second launch, your third, whatever it is, and find the things. Because everybody, not only is everybody sharing a talk, but I think 90% of all of our experts also have a free gift. So there's opportunities to grab some really generous freebies that'll help you, you know, take your launch to the next level, because they're all like right around launching. So I think there's a lot here that people can get.
And it's free. By the way, I haven't mentioned this, everybody, but it's free.
That's free. Yay. And I'm really glad that you're doing this with me. Thanks so much.
I'm so excited. Like I honestly, like I have been kind of the little bunny in the background, like, hey, let's do this. Hey, and I had it on my list. I knew I was going to come back from my trip and I was like, have to book a live with Jennie. And there it was like available to me. And I'm so excited. So please sign up for tomorrow. My talk is on Tuesday, but honestly, when you look at the breakdown of who is involved in this, including my friend Sterling, you're going to be like, oh, I need to get inside of this. Just like Jennie said too, it's not an overwhelm of information. It's not a fire hose, because you can choose, like, this seems interesting to me, and then just pick the nuggets that will work for you. It's such a brilliant way.
Sterling saying, great interview, ladies. I vouch 100% for Tracy.
Sterling, I'll pay you later.
Right?
So good. All right, Jennie. Well, I will see you tomorrow. Obviously, Sterling, I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm so excited for all my friends who just signed up, but we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks so much, Tracy.
Have a great day.